Every day, we wake up with a strictly finite amount of attention to spend, yet our feeds are saturated with the ultimate world-stopping showdown. In this environment, every click and sponsorship dollar is an investment. We are constantly forced to choose between two very different models of entertainment. The first is the frictionless spectacle. It's an algorithm hacking PR stunt driven by internet drama. It requires almost no logistical effort to launch and relies entirely on provocation to capture the news cycle. The second is high-fidelity execution. This is a premium athletic reality. It demands massive capital, years of professional infrastructure, and actual physical stakes for the participants. To see where our attention goes, we can map these events on a quadrant chart. We measure the volume of hype against the actual probability of the event taking place. Plotting our test cases shows a massive divide. The proposed Musk versus Zuck cage fight sits in the top left. Maximum hype, almost zero probability. A Messi versus Ronaldo shootout sits in the top right. Maximum hype, near guaranteed execution. Learning to distinguish between these two quadrants is the most practical skill for consumers guarding their time and brands protecting their marketing budgets. This hype cycle began in June 2023. The owner of X posted a casual challenge, sparking an immediate wave of social media speculation. The momentum shifted when the CEO of Meta publicly accepted and directly demanded a location for the bout. The spectacle gained institutional weight when combat sports executives entered the conversation, forecasting a potential $1 billion pay-per-view. To maintain interest, both billionaires began publicly training with active world champions, creating a visible, if shallow, narrative of professional preparation. Even retired legends offered their coaching services, further blurring the line between a digital meme and a physical reality. Absurdity peaked with reports of active negotiations with Italy's Minister of Culture to host the fight at the ancient Colosseum. For months, this story dominated global headlines and achieved total cultural saturation. But the actual product remained entirely theoretical. It was a perfect example of billionaire vaporware. Academic analysis of the leaked texts between the two CEOs suggests that this wasn't a training camp, but a calculated linguistic battle. Linguists point to a tactic called bald-on-record communication. It's an aggressive, direct strategy that leaves no room for ambiguity or softening the message. This strategy was used to control the framing of the fight. By stating, "I joked on X," and following up with, "Zuck declined," the speaker aggressively frames his opponent as backing away, while positioning himself as the willing participant. The risk of the bald-on-record strategy is that it creates a public promise that eventually hits the wall of reality. This meant inventing logistical delays, like sudden MRI scans and back surgery. This type of PR generates massive awareness for zero cost. But when execution fails, the audience is left with a product that never intended to exist. On the other side, we see the defensive posture required when a CEO realizes they're trapped in a viral stunt with no path to execution. The counter tactic here is negative politeness, often combined with hedging. It's a strategy used to lower expectations and safely de-escalate a public conflict. These hedging tactics were deployed publicly to build a clear exit strategy. Phrases like "not holding my breath" and the demand to work with elite athletes shift logistical blame, lowering expectations without the CEO having to admit he's walking away. This eventually led to the definitive statement, where the illusion was punctured and the match was called off. The language focused on it being time to move on and accused the opponent of not being serious, effectively ending the charade. Negative politeness protects the corporate brand, but it also kills the momentum. It confirms to the audience that their attention was being used for a PR exercise rather than a real competition. Now, consider the alternative, a hypothetical penalty shootout between Messi and Ronaldo. This is the opposite end of the attention spectrum. Delivering this model requires massive logistical inputs. You have to negotiate with clubs, secure global broadcast rights, and deploy millions in capital before a single ball is kicked. But that friction creates a different outcome. It strips the sport down to pure skill and undeniable stakes, resulting in a winner that the world can actually see. In this model, the promoters face significant financial risk if the audience doesn't show up. That risk is the barrier to entry that billionaire tweets completely bypass. Accepting that logistical friction, the complex contracts, the stadium prep, the professional infrastructure, is the price of admission for a product that actually materializes, turning the attention investment into something tangible. To understand who actually profits, let's look at the business mechanics. The vaporware column shows extremely low acquisition costs, but zero probability of execution and poor brand safety. The Super HD column shows astronomical costs, but near certain execution and premium brand safety. For the tech CEOs, leaking text to biographers and dominating social algorithms was a personal success. The stunt achieved its true goal. It kept their names in the headlines for months. But for the public, the payoff was non-existent. Attention without execution is just an algorithmic tax on your time. The next time the internet promises an ultimate showdown, use this flowchart to decide where to invest your attention. If your goal is fleeting virality, the playbook of frictionless callouts works. It creates cheap awareness, but gradually erodes the trust of your audience. If your goal is brand safety and legacy, you have to look toward the capital-intensive, professional execution of the Super HD model. As a consumer, you can stop rewarding the moving goalposts of billionaire hype cycles and start demanding events where the participants actually show up. The spectacle captures the news cycle for a day, but execution is what builds a lasting legacy. Every click you make is a vote for which model of entertainment you want to see more of.